In November of 1948, the Pennsylvania Railroad transferred their Baldwin 282 number 3642 to the DT&I. This became the DT&I 317. It only lasted 7 years on the railroad, however, and by 1955 was retired at Jackson. The DT&I donated the 317 to the Historical Society at Jackson for display. Between 1950 and 1951, the Ann Arbor Railroad was receiving new diesel power in the form of Alco FA2s. In 1962, the DT&I gained control of the Ann Arbor and acquired 10 GP35s, which it traded most of for the FA2s. A few, however, were sent to the Wabash to work up until 1965, when the Wabash Railroad traded them for new GEs. Number 52 and 52A were saved for display in a town in Indiana. In 1976, the Ann Arbor was up for acquisition into Conrail. However, the DT&I bought outright the Ann Arbor and all of its assets. In 1980, the GTW bought the DT&I. However, it retained its separate identity. The early 1980s were a period of growth for both the DT&I and the GTW. In 1982, they found a route around the treacherous Summit Hill over both B&O and C&O lines. Later in 1986, the lines from the B&O were bought outright. The Summit Hill line, however, was saved for local industries and customers. In December of 1991, Canadian National, the parent company of both the DT&I and Grand Trunk, launched a corporate image program. All subsidiaries, including the DT&I, were painted in the black, red, and white paint scheme with their individual company logos. The shops at Jackson painted each locomotive at their 90-day inspection. In 2004, a committee of local citizens sought to run excursion trains over the now seldom-used Summit Hill line. The group acquired ex-Ann Arbor FA2s number 52 and 52A, which were currently on display in Indiana. The Jackson shops of the DT&I rebuilt these for use, and thus the Summit Hill Scenic Railroad was born. The first run of the railroad was in October of 2004. That same year, DT&I officials became interested in restoring steam locomotive number 317, which was on display in Jackson. The Jackson shops began rebuilding, and in 2008 the 317 was released to excursion specials. Facilities were either built or rebuilt at Jackson, Springfield, Lima, and Flat Rock for running the new steam locomotive. Earlier in 2006, the DT&I had acquired several streamline cars from parent Canadian National. These were mainly used for business use and an annual excursion over the original route of the DT&I. They were also used on the annual traditional Santa train. Being under a maintenance agreement with the Summit Hill Scenic Railroad, the Ann Arbor FA2s were also frequently used for these services. Also, in 2008, the GP38-2 228 was painted back into the bicentennial 1776 colors for use on the Scenic Railroad and on excursions. Sit back and enjoy the 317 pulling a business train over the DT&I.